Hello, everyone,
Oh,
and
wait.
welcome to.
Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. My name is Aldrin Guerrero. Joining me are Mr. Aaron, the voice Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
It is Thursday, 1 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. It's time. It's live here at the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. Now, here's the guys. Or are we using a different intro?
No.
What's up, everyone? In this show, we answer any and all of your ukulele questions. We have some nice discussions. We talk about what's going on here at Ukulele Underground. We basically just talk about whatever. This is your normal ukulele podcast. So let's just get right into it. Kahai, do we have any questions? Yeah, go ahead. Hit me one. With what?
So we got two questions. Okay, so this one is an easier question, I guess.
Yeah.
It's from Heart Ukulele, and they said, my question concerns the use of truss rods in ukes. Is it important to have a truss rod built into the neck of a uke? Will a truss rod always help prevent neck bows? How common are neck bows, and what usually causes them? What can players do to prevent neck bowing in their ukes? Thank you for your help.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions. But I mean, ultimately, it does not need truss rods. You know, like ukuleles are so small. But it actually depends how well they're built. I mean, if they're built well, it shouldn't need a truss rod. A truss rod just kind of keeps it so that it's straight at all times.
So what is a truss rod?
Okay, a truss rod is something that you put into the neck of your ukulele. So it comes from here.
Yeah, it's built into
Yeah.
it. You can't really retrofit an ukulele with one.
You can't add a truss rod afterwards.
Yeah,
it has to be
part
in
of the
there.
building process. Like
Yeah.
if the builder decides
Yeah.
to put one in, then they
So
will.
all that does is it makes sure that your that your fretboard doesn't bow or doesn't have any kind of like curve in it or whatever, other than that, because like electric guitars would normally have it. You can tighten it, which would make the truss rod kind of go up, or you can loosen it, which makes the truss rod go the other way. So you can kind of straighten out. Oh, I should show you this way. So you can tighten it and make it go like this, if it needs to, or you can loosen it, which then goes like this, right? So you just want it straight as possible. That if there's any kind of bowing, any kind of curve, it will affect your playing. It will affect like the intonation and just the overall life of the instrument. But ukuleles should be built well enough that it doesn't need those things. Maybe like an economy ukulele that is known for for having bowing, then maybe they might put a truss rod in there, but it's not necessary. Like I know ukuleles, at least I better make sure before I speak out of turn here. Like they don't have truss rod. They don't have a truss rod in there.
Yeah, it's actually For ukuleles, it's usually a premium kind of feature.
It doesn't need it. If it's built well, it doesn't really need it. And if you're asking what causes those things, I mean, your normal wear and tear, like if you have like high or low humidity and anything that would affect the wood, that would kind of bend the wood in any kind of way. That's usually if you leave it in your car, if you do those kind of things, it will bend. Or if you live in a relatively colder area, that might bend the neck a little bit. And it's not just your neck. I think for ukuleles, it's mostly here on the body. Like there's like bowing and stuff. But so far in my sorry about that. So far in my experience, the necks have been relatively stable. I don't think I've ever had any problems with the neck being bent or anything like that. I mean, I've seen it in like cheaper ukuleles, but a quality ukulele should not need it. Yeah.
Like the only thing that I can really think of that would cause bowing immediately, maybe, and even this is like it's not really common that happens, but they say like when you travel on a plane, right, loosen your strings because the going
the
up
tension.
in altitude will increase the tension. But even then, if it causes any difference in your ukulele, like if you keep it in a good environment after you land, and you get situated, and you just keep it there for a few weeks, it should go back to normal too.
Yeah, and even that's kind of tricky because I used to loosen my strings when I travel and stuff, and then I just stopped doing it just because I'm like I don't know, when I loosen my strings. If we go on a tour where we hit the ground running, I have to like retune my ukulele back up, and loosening the strings like kind of messes with with the feel of my ukulele because it might be too loose, and then we have a different kind of what's the word for it, humidity than here in Hawaii, so it's going to be even tougher for my ukulele to get used to it. But if it's not detuned and it's got that same tension that it came from Hawaii, then I just have to compensate for the new humidity. But it's like I have to compensate for the humidity and I have to tune it back up, so I just stopped doing it. I've not had problems. I mean, I'm not saying that like you don't gotta do it or whatever, because there have been times like Ryan, he's my old guitar player and he's an owner of Ukulele Underground. You guys should know Ryan. Ryan was doing a tour with us. Was it Boulder Creek? Was that his Boulder Creek guitar? It the bridge like popped out because of like too much tension from the strings. So I don't know if it's necessarily just a guitar thing, and maybe the guitar steel strings are just super high tension as opposed to like ukulele strings, but I've never had a problem with ukuleles on the plane, and I fly quite often, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And according to my friend who's a pilot, like he says that modern planes are pressurized anyway, so even if you check it in and stuff, like the carrier where they have all your luggage and stuff, that's also pressurized, so it maybe just a little bit of like pressure change, but that's no different than like going to to a different humidity and
or altitude.
Or altitude. Yeah. So it's not that bad, but I don't know. Like I said, it's kind of tricky because it's never happened to me, but I know people that it has happened to. So there have been cases, but I don't know. Never had a problem.
Yeah, I think truss rods are typically something that they build into guitars, steel string guitars, or steel string instruments in general. They'll add a truss rod in there because the tension of the strings might cause the instrument to react, and then having the truss rod in there prevents you from having to reset your entire neck, which can be like a costly process, right? If it bows and then you have to reset, have a luthier go in and take off the neck,
costs money,
reset the neck.
Costs money.
Yeah, with the truss rod, it just allows you to do like you can take it in, they'll tweak it a little bit, reset the action.
It's all just like tightening or loosening that truss rod.
Yeah, and then that will help. So, with the ukulele is smaller and it doesn't have steel strings on it, so it really shouldn't need a truss rod
if it's built correctly.
Yeah, but I did notice that a lot of guitar builders who start building ukuleles,
they put the truss rod
in just because that's what they're used to. And then some ukulele manufacturers offer that as an option, but I don't think there hasn't been too much of a
and I mean it's not long either, because if it was longer, then maybe that amount of amount of tension, because it's such a small angle, and like maybe back then too, because they used to make the necks out of like koa and stuff, and koa is a relatively softer wood, that's why it makes really good tone wood. But nowadays, like almost all the necks are made out of either mahogany or rosewood, which are like harder woods. So they're built great for necks.
Yeah, I think like even electric guitars, like they have the truss rod, right? And if you go in and you buy an electric guitar, they might ask you like, "Oh, do you want us to set up your electric guitar, and what kind of strings do you want, and how are you gonna play it?" And if you're playing metal music and you're playing like with a drop tuning that's really low, they're gonna put on like a heavy gauge string that's almost like bass strings at that point, right? And so when they do that, it's gonna naturally pull the neck forward. Like that's how much tension it is on. But you don't put like that high gauge strings on ukes anyways.
No.
So you're barely gonna see strings that are gonna cause your neck to like completely. Because if you put it out those heavy strings on a guitar, you can physically see the neck kind of like just start bending in,
pulling,
and so that's where they adjust the truss rod, right? Like because they know like, oh, we want it to bend back a little bit more.
But having a truss rod built into your ukulele probably would drive up the cost too. If you're having a custom ukulele built and they ask you like, do you want a truss rod in there, it's gonna cost more.
It doesn't need it. But if you do have a truss rod in there, it doesn't affect the sound either.
Yeah.
You know, like it really is just like a metal rod that's like stuck in your neck, which then connects to the body, just making sure that neck stays still. So it doesn't lend any kind of sonic qualities. Like it's not gonna make it sound better or whatever.
It'll make it heavier.
Yeah. It does, yeah.
It's kind of like insurance, right? Like car insurance is like, you probably won't get into an accident. Your neck probably won't bow.
Yeah.
But if it does, then this thing is already built in, and we can kind of fix it.
It'll
for
be
you.
easier to fix.
But it's like, it's
Very
very
unlikely,
rare that
yeah.
it's gonna happen. So
yeah, especially with whatever nylon strings, fluorocarbon strings.
No, there's some nylon string guitars that I know have truss rods in there, but like ukuleles, you don't really need it. I've never had to adjust a truss rod on the uke, nor have I don't know if I had a uke with a truss rod, period. I'm not sure. I gotta go check that up. But I know, I play ukulele all the time and they don't have truss rods in there. Or I could be wrong. Like I'm gonna ask, and next week I'm gonna come back and be like, yeah, you know what? There is a truss or whatever.
I have heard of people putting into the necks. They set carbon fiber or carbon filament sticks or something just to reinforce the neck to make sure that it stays straight.
That might be. There's like something going on here, like that it's kind of like, like how Legos just kind of like come together and stuff.
Yeah,
there is something going on down here that they make so that it like kind of just lines up like perfectly.
Oh,
yeah.
No, well that's
for the ukuleles.
Yeah,
they have that.
But that's just to like connect the neck to the body, right?
But
it's
I'm guessing it makes it not move. I don't know.
No, but I'm talking about like into the neck wood.
Oh, okay.
They will set like a piece of carbon all the way down the length of the neck on the inside, and then they put the fretboard over it to cover that. But then that just strengthens the neck itself. So like I've heard of that, which isn't like
it's not common.
The truss the truss rod allows it to be adjustable, so that doesn't make it adjustable adding the carbon in there, but it does strengthen. I've heard of builders using that.
It kind of makes sense that you said, right, like that builders who go from guitars to ukuleles will put a truss rod in. And it seems like when they do that kind of stuff, or like, doing what you said with the neck, it's like, I don't know, but the neck might bend, like they're afraid of it and they're not used to it. It's like, no, not usually. Like it's very rare that it will happen.
Yeah.
So. Or unless like, like you develop a style like Barry Flanagan where like you're full on like bending, like the neck and stuff, then maybe, like you might want to put a truss rod in there. But other than that, I don't think you need it. For those people who don't know, Barry Flanagan from Hoppa, one of like, or even like Makana and those people who do like those crazy like bending of notes with their necks and stuff. They have specialized truss rods that allows you to be able to do those things. But I don't know of any ukulele player that utilizes that technique. So other than that, I don't think it's necessary for ukuleles. Yeah. But since you mentioned carbon. Do you know if Blackbird has truss rods on their necks? Because it's just like one piece, right?
It's
okay.
The entire thing is one piece.
Okay.
So it wouldn't. Yeah, they wouldn't.
That's what I was thinking, but
like
I just figured since it's kind of like carbon fiber, it's like it's on the thin side, so maybe that like that tension might bow it because it's so thin. But
no,
I don't think
carbon fiber itself is strong.
Yeah, you're right.
And light. So what Blackbird does is, I think their neck is partially hollow.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
because it's hollow. That's what I was thinking. Like, do they have a rod in there? But no,
that's why. So if you think about it, like where would the truss rod even go?
So.
There's nothing in the center of the neck. Yeah,
because that was the whole idea of their first ukes and guitars, right? Where they were breakdown guitars and ukes, and you can like kind of just fold them in half even and stuff. So
cool. All right, next question.
I don't know. That might be a different company.
I thought
Journey Instruments does that.
All right, I thought at least they made a guitar like that, like a guitar that can
the one that Joey
fold.
plays doesn't it do that? Like,
that's a Journey instrument.
That's a Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I've ever seen anything that's kind of within that. which is pretty cool actually. Like I was surprised when Joey Charles, shout out to Joey, showed us that he could do that with a guitar, because it fully like loosens the strings, but it kind of goes smoothly. Like once you put it in, tune it up a little bit, and it goes. I was expecting it to like maybe have some intonation issues and stuff, but it was good to go. I'm surprised.
It's a guitar that folds in half, basically.
Yeah, pretty cool. Travel guitar, like a pure travel guitar. Yeah. Next,
Renee has a question in the chat. She said, I have 2 hydrometers. My house is between 36 to 40, and the hydrometer in her case is 67. Is that difference every day okay for my uke?
Well, it might be different inside the case, and it might be different like outside, much like how it might be different inside your house and outside your house. Like the humidity levels are going to be different, especially if you're putting a humidifier inside your case. Either that, or maybe like the hygrometer just reads a little bit differently. But I do know that depends on the situation, the humidity levels does change. But 60% sounds pretty good, like for your instruments. So if you just keep it at that and keep it inside the case when you're not playing it, that should be fine.
Yeah. Like I would say if you're gonna leave it out of the case, like you're gonna have it in the case for a long period of time and then leave it out for like a week or two, then you might see some differences, but not necessarily. I don't think anything bad would necessarily happen to it, or you won't see it right away. So yeah.
What's I feel for those people that like have low humidity or too high humidity and stuff. Like I love like just picking up my ukulele and going, instead of like having to like, oh, which case is that uke in, and having to open it and taking that out like that, or just even displaying your instruments. Like it's tough to just display it and then just, I guess, detune it. Those humidity levels, watch out for them, especially up there in Colorado.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, so Joko asked, how do you define Hawaiian music? What are its characteristics? It certainly got to be more than just music made by people who are from Hawaii. So, and he mentions that there's a contest in the Old Forum.
Yeah. And
it's songs about Hawaii, but that doesn't necessarily make it Hawaiian music either, right? So.
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, I don't know if we have enough cred to be answering that question, but we'll try to answer it as best as we can. Okay, so this goes with the disclaimer of like, we don't claim to be experts at Hawaiian music or Hawaiian culture, even at that. So with that said, now with the protection of our disclaimer, it really depends, because here in Hawaii, like Hawaiian music, the original music, is nothing but like chants and things that they would just use percussive instruments too and stuff, like just any kind of story that that is put into rhythm is technically like Hawaiian, like Hawaiian music from back in the day. You would chant it out. There's all these like uses for for certain songs and certain chants and stuff. It wasn't until like guitars and ukuleles were introduced that they fully like put it into music and started like writing songs in the more like modern sense of like songs with like chords and whatnot. But Hawaiian music could have been something as simple as a chant, and then they're like shaking their uli uli, which is like what is that? Little shakers and stuff. And then it's all these like hula instruments that they have that that's how they would create music. But anything. But I don't know. It's tough, and I'm afraid to like define it, only because as it gets more and more modern, like the description or the definition becomes more and more vague, like of what Hawaiian music really is. But if I were to generalize, it really is any music coming out of Hawaii, like from people who identify as Hawaiian musicians. Like I don't know how you would explain, because like if I've talked to my friend Kaniho about this, the guy who face tattoo and bass and stuff, and he was saying that like 'cause I was telling him, is this okay? You know, as I'm not Hawaiian at all, but I am from Hawaii, and I identify as Hawaiian from. This is where I'm from, but I'm not like Hawaiian in blood or anything like that. And I was telling him, I'm like, is that okay to just kind of teach the Hawaiian culture, teach ukulele, and tell people about the, you know, like olelo, like how people speak, and give people like advice on pronunciation and whatnot. He's like, yes, but you have to watch out, because you know, like any kind of hula, any kind of like music, any kind of story and stuff, you have to have at least some kind of kubu or some kind of teacher that passed this knowledge down to you, so that you can pass that knowledge down to whoever else. And the reason for that is because like the genealogy of that knowledge matters to them. You know, like which teacher taught it to you. They might either say things differently, dance things differently, play things differently, and that you can pretty much trace like, okay, that version is from this person, from this hula school or whatever. But you know, if I was somebody that didn't have any kind of, you know, didn't belong to any kind of genealogy of music teachers, then it would be kind of tough to say that like, oh, I play Hawaiian music or I do Hawaiian music or whatever. There has to be some kind of connection. So according to him and his girlfriend Kahea, like as long as there's, you know, there's a certain respect and there's a certain connection to like actual Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian music, then it's okay. So for them, they're saying like it's okay because I have studied under, you know, under hula instructors and kumu and all these people that have taught me like how to pronounce certain words, even though like I'm all over the place at all times and stuff. There are, you know, people who have taught me, and it's kind of cool because if you're saying something wrong, like I just said, they can trace back or be like, oh, who's your teacher? Who taught you how to sing that song? Who taught you how to do that song? They can blame that person, you know? But that's really it. Like it has, for me, Hawaiian music, you know, for my own definition, it has to have some kind of lineage from, you know, that is like a Hawaiian music or Hawaiian culture teacher. It has to come from a place in Hawaii for it to become Hawaiian music. So simply just, you know, like writing music with Hawaiian lyrics in it isn't necessarily going to be a, you know, a Hawaiian it could be a Hawaiian song, but it's not necessarily Hawaiian music. I don't know, does that make sense? Because that's I'm trying to remember like what he's telling me, but they basically like lectured me about this stuff because, you know, I was just paranoid and I wanted to be respectful, you know, to their culture. And because I am like, you know, on the internet, like teaching the secrets of ukulele or whatever, although it's modern techniques and modern like takes on the ukulele, I still have to have some kind of teacher that is connected to, you know, some kind of Hawaiian music lineage.
Yeah. I think it's hard to define because Hawaii is like even what we call modern Hawaiian versus like or contemporary Hawaiian music and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's all different, and Hawaii in general just has like a ton of influences, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why like you know the music that we love, like Kawa Crater Boys, mm-hmm. you'll hear them sing a bunch of like you know, cowboy music, Western music and stuff. And even like stringed instruments, when it was introduced, it was influenced by the Spanish cowboys, right? So that their type of music kind of got ingrained with Hawaiian music, and then it just kind of, that's kind of like even the idea of like putting a name to the genre, it's fine, but like I don't know, like it. When you learn a song, if you enjoy it, it's not that important to know like where it comes from, right? Like, oh, is this classified as Hawaiian music, like quote unquote Hawaiian music? Mm-hmm. Is like, if you enjoy it, that's fine, you know?
Yeah. What was the original question?
He just wanted to know like what's considered how do you Hawaiian define music? Hawaiian music? Because he's trying to rate a song for that contest, and he's not sure what they mean, like rate a song about Hawaii, you know? Or I think even in the contest too, the person says like you can play a song from like a Hawaiian artist or something, but he was just wondering what it even is like Hawaiian music.
It would just be up to however they define it, right?
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's
I mean, how do you define any genre of music?
no,
Honestly,
but
you know?
I mean,
Like,
in that context, right? It's based on whoever's holding the contest.
I guess so.
Whatever they
consider
Hawaiian music, then
Yeah.
you just abide by those rules. But for as for the bigger question, like what is
Yeah.
Hawaiian music?
Yeah, it's like,
That's a totally different thing.
that's very deep. It's a very deep question because
Yeah, because even that, I never would say that I am Hawaiian,
yeah,
just because it could be confused with being Hawaiian
blood, yeah.
ethnicity.
Yeah,
Yeah, and which is not right. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was born in Hawaii. I lived here most of my life, for a majority of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my home address, my mailing address has always been in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But I cannot say that I'm Hawaiian because
Because like, and that's why like when people hear, right, they ask, oh, like where are you from? It's like, what part of the island are you from? And then they'll ask like, oh, what are you? Like they're asking like, oh, are you Japanese or Chinese?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, and even like if I go someplace else and people ask, oh, like where are you from? I say like, oh, I'm from Hawaii,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't expect them to think that like, oh yeah, you're Hawaiian,
Yeah.
It's
But
like-
but in the mainland, they'll refer to, if we're coming over and visiting, they're like, oh, we got to take
Some
care of these
Hawaiian
Hawaiians, and like that's not,
Yeah, I mean, it's correct in the sense of like there's Californians, you
Yeah,
know, like
yeah.
it's not an ethnicity,
Yeah.
but you're from California.
Yeah,
so
but you're-
Hawaiians in the sense that like we're
it's
from
like-
Hawaii.
It's the same thing as like I was born and raised in America, but
Yeah.
I'm not Native American. It's
Yeah,
like the same
just
thing.
American.
Yeah.
It's plain old American.
Yeah.
It's a thing
I'm
where it's
from
like-
Hawaii. That's the same thing, right? I'm from Hawaii.
Yeah.
the name has like a geographic and like ethnic and cultural like connotations to it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's why it's like, that's
Because these people did have their own thing, until they didn't. Like, I don't want to get into that conversation, but
and
like,
it comes with so much cultural baggage,
Yes,
right? Like
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
say that I experienced, the same cultural ramifications as Native Hawaiians have experienced. So I can't, like use that moniker.
Yeah, I've asked Kadil and Kahil about that too. I was like, it's like, can I identify as like Hawaiian because I'm from here, but I'm like,
Yes.
not by blood? They're like, if we're talking blood, definitely not. But
Yeah,
like
it's not.
you are Hawaiian in the sense that you're, you're from here. This culture. This place really well. You represent Hawaii like as a Hawaiian, like all over the place or whatever. I'm just like, oh, that makes sense, but like that's still kind of vague, like a gray area of like if you can call yourself a Hawaiian or not.
yeah. So I
When
feel-
in doubt, don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. One of the only things back then in my YouTube description was no, I'm not Hawaiian, because most people like I guess assumed that I was Hawaiian, Hawaiian from Hawaii. I'm from Hawaii, but I wasn't even born here. That's like the thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I get less and less Hawaiian as you know me more and more. I play the ukulele. That's just,
yeah.
I
I think
can't even say that correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Joko was looking for like specific things that like, oh yeah, this is what makes Hawaiian music, right? But yeah, it's become like so, what even because like what we consider Hawaiian music now or like local music now is different from local music 10 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and it's different from local music that 40 years ago too. So it's changing over time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that definition of like Hawaiian music, like people come to Hawaii, right, and they hear songs in the airport and they're like, this is Hawaiian music, and it's like, yeah, that can be Hawaiian music, but then you can also hear Hawaiian music where there's no like guitar or ukulele or anything. You would just hear ipus and stuff, and
Right.
it's like that's Hawaiian music too. So
Yeah.
they're
Like how Hawaiian?
It was because like there's, I guess, with social media nowadays and stuff, and people kind of dancing on social media or whatever. Like there's people like dancing hula on social media, and there's those people like who kind of learn hula and then like try to like try to do their interpretation of what like whatever hula is, not knowing that hula is such a like is a huge deal here and a very powerful thing that if you kind of like just like not mock it, it's tough. Like people take it very, very, very seriously.
Well,
so like, and as you guys notice, we don't have too much hula here on Ukulele Underground. Like we had maybe one or two or something. Like things with
and
hula in
then
it.
we
made
had
sure,
people that know
that actually like do do the art justice, because just like I said, there has to be a lineage of where that art came from. So like with in that case, the hula dancer that we had belonged to a halau who who has a kumu, and then that kumu belonged to a halau before that who had that kumu, and so on and so forth. You can really trace it back. And and we trusted them to do justice to hula, and we wanted to bring a good representation of hula, and we didn't just like here's the moves. We're talking about the waves, so listen to the waves and the moon and stuff. Like no, it's like from two different schools. Like telling the story about the moon could be completely different. Like the same like Honolulu moon, for example, could have like 100 different ways to dance it depending which school you came from.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, enough about that. I remember that conversation. I'm like, because I felt guilty, as an ukulele like instructor, not necessarily like Hawaiian descent or blood or anything like that. And I'm just like, am I like doing a disservice? Like by they're like, no. You're spreading the culture, but you're giving respect to it, and that's all that matters and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll try to as much as I can.
Yeah, and even from here, right? Like. People kind of, like people wouldn't be surprised if you said, "Oh, I am Hawaiian," and you're like, "Oh, I have like 1/4 or 1/6% Hawaiian blood in me or whatever."
Yeah,
like that is very common in Hawaii. So you can look, not like a Hawaiian person, and people won't be surprised that it's like, "Oh yeah, you have Hawaiian in you."
Yeah.
So
yeah, so I don't know, and we get a lot of requests for like, oh, do this song, do this Hawaiian song or whatever. I would love to do a bunch, but it's like I have to find the right person to sing it, or the right person to dance, or the right person to do that song justice, because it's really tough. With the friends that I have, like I would just get judged. Like it's tough. I can't just put out stuff just to put it out, just to have content or just to have the views or whatever. Like it has to go through a process.
I mean, like, even, it's kind of funny because even, like, people, if you just play ukulele, right, people assume that you have some kind of connection to Hawaii or
and the connection is there. Not saying that there's no connection.
Yeah, but, like, that's why, like, people assume Lenny is Hawaiian, right? It's like...
Oh, ukulele?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he plays ukulele, but, yeah, it's...
Yeah, don't you see the plumeria on his shirt?
Yeah, and he even jokes about that, right? Like, oh, yeah, I'm from the island of San Diego. It's like, that's a lot of people, so...
Yeah, and I mean, like, getting into the conversations with those two about, like, I just felt guilty because it's like their culture is already being kind of commercialized like everywhere and stuff, and I'm not necessarily like and not maybe I am a little bit different, but it's kind of the same where I'm just like, hey, everyone's learned this song or whatever. But they said as long as you do it with with the respect for the culture and the intention of teaching and the intention of educating people about about the culture, then it is. But if you have like other intentions of like, oh well, people like this, so we should do this without thinking about what that what that means. I mean, for example, like without going too deep into it, like a song like Hene Hene Koaka, very good song by Brada Is. Love that song, super catchy and stuff, but like listening to the lyrics, not that appropriate to teach. Like, not that appropriate. Don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's, and saying this stuff, right? Like we're not trying to scare people off from playing or trying to learn these things or something. It's just like learn it or try and find reputable places to learn it from. Maybe like, and I'm sure like even if you do make a mistake, people in the Hawaiian culture like community, they're very nice, so they're not gonna just like jump on you, right? And be like,
hey,
oh, shouldn't do that, but like they might like try and steer you to the right direction too. So yeah, don't be afraid to try it out.
Okay, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
a good conversation about that.
Yeah.
It was a long time because it was pre-pandemic, like where I had that. I just had that huge guilt. I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like,
Yeah,
to
and
be
for a
butchering
while,
your culture this way.
like we've been trying to get someone to teach Hawaiian properly
Yes,
here on Ukulele Underground. So that the project stalled for a while, but it may be getting revived.
Yes,
so
yes.
we'll see.
We can't
Sit
talk
tight.
about too much about it,
Yeah.
but we're excited for the future. If you guys went to the retreats, like the Ukulele Underground retreat, then you'll know exactly how serious we are about like Hawaiian culture and teaching this culture properly. Because the people who who went to the retreat got legit like Hawaiian culture and Hawaiian music teachers that they experienced here, and just even like Uncle the Kumu that came down.
Maka?
Yeah, and then like he brought that little kid over to sing a song. And he saw it was just such a great experience. Too bad a pandemic we couldn't do it again this year, but it was awesome. Like and we had Randall and Kahea, then we had Kupa'oa who came down and shared their mana'o about like their songs and stuff. It's really cool. And then Uncle Joe, of course, he's Hawaiian. He's been building ukuleles for a long time. I miss it, man. I miss that retreat. I miss the people from the retreat. Come back, guys. Let's hang out.
Yeah, if you're interested about that kind of stuff too, like the people who really know about it, they're never gonna be like, or I've never met somebody who's like, whoa, you can't learn about this because you're not Hawaiian. They're like very happy to share with everybody if you're interested. So if you are interested and you find somebody who they're like a kumu or something, feel free, try it and ask them. Because I'm sure they'll be happy to help.
It's basically like you could probably find a good Taekwondo place, but don't sign up for Rex Kwando. There's like reputable Hawaiian culture teachers, but then there's those Hawaiian culture teachers also. The Rex Kwando of the. Now you're gonna have to put that as a link on the description on the page, Kahai. Rex Kwando, bow to your sensei.
Yeah,
it's like like I know someone from Hawaii who taught me how to pronounce things. So I'm gonna teach you how to pronounce things and all the stories and everything.
I have taken enough hula lessons at the Sheraton Resort,
the YMCA.
Or signing up for this is a Hawaiian night luau. I'm gonna learn how to dance hula. It's like, it's fun. Okay.
All right, Kai, go on. Man, let's go. Let's move on. I can go on and on about this subject.
Kind of going back to the chat. Jim mentioned that he thinks that Kanilea uses graphite rods.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning.
That's it. Yeah. There is something, like I was saying, there is something going on here.
It's not a truss rod, but it's just a way to strengthen the neck. To make sure that it doesn't bow.
There it is. That's why I'm like, I don't want to say because I know there's something, but I'm sure there's no. Because if there was a truss rod, you could adjust it down here, and I don't see that like on this ukulele. But there is something definitely there, like right around here.
Yeah. I think they might offer it. Like if someone really wanted one, they could, but it's not a standard thing.
Yeah. All right, Kai. What else?
And then Devin mentioned that he has his ukes hanging on the wall. So he's wondering what's the lowest humidity that would make that okay.
I don't know. Like really, I don't. Like 30 is pretty low.
Anytime that it goes below like 35, you should probably stick it in a case with a humidifier.
35 or higher than 80, maybe. Also, like lower than 35 or 35 and lower, maybe 80 and higher. But even then, anything in between, you just gotta watch out for. Like maintain your ukes. But like, okay, it's been like a month or whatever, or a couple months, just like check it and they go, everything all right? And in that case, just to be on the safe side, if you're just displaying it, like putting it on the wall and stuff and not actively playing it all the time, detune it and just play it safe.
Yeah, even if it's in the case too, if you're not playing it,
detune it.
I mean, if you That is probably something that we recommend, but we don't do enough, right? Like over here,
Yeah.
we leave instruments
Yeah,
that
we'll
are strung out.
But I mean, yeah, I've seen a lot of ukuleles just right in half because of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The safe bet is to do it, and you can kind of take a roll of the dice, and it might work out fine, you know. But yeah, if you're not gonna play it for a long period of time, just
Yeah. If you're just gonna stick it in the closet and it'll probably be another year before you pick it up, probably detune.
I mean, there was a time when like getting those kind of repairs, like luthiers getting repairs, like their bridge came off or their neck like came off and stuff. It used to be kind of common, but nowadays it's not that common. Only because they switched from using like koa necks. Because back then kamaka used to be all koa instrument, but then they soon found out that like that's not necessarily a good thing because the neck suffers from being a little too soft.
That's
But I mean, not saying that they don't exist, because old kamakas do exist if you take care of just right.
that's
Yeah.
Well, that's the stories, right? Is people have old kamakas or martins, and
Yeah.
they're like, this is like worth thousands of dollars now. Oh my gosh! And then somebody else hears about it, and they're like, I'm gonna go look in my closet to find my old kamaka. And they're like, oh, it's broken in half. It's like
You still get like a few $100, right? But it's broken. It's like, no, it's a broken instrument.
yeah. And, like the people who theirs lasted through the years, they probably either did detune it or it just got lucky and it was just one of the ones that didn't break. So, or the strings broke before the neck it did. So
Yeah.
but you don't want to take the chance.
No.
Yep.
No.
Chris and Sue had a question.
Sure.
So they asked, what are some of your favorite jazz and blues chord progressions? Also, which scales are best to practice to play solos with these chord progressions?
All time favorite 251. 251, baby. so fun. 1625, also a great one. Just those like simple ones. I mean, honestly, I'm not that great of a jazz player. I just started kind of like diving into jazz just a few years ago when I was kind of tossed into a jazz group with Mike Odo. But other than that, like just really simple stuff. I'm not I'm not an Abe Lagrimas or a Paul Hemmings or anything like that. Like I keep things relatively simple. So 1625, 251, things like that. I'm a huge fan of because it's good stuff. It's easy. But yeah, because if you're asking me what my favorites, those are my favorites. What about you, Aaron? What's your favorite jazz chord progression solo too?
I don't know. I mean, I don't usually think of things in chord progressions. I just think of things in songs.
Yeah,
like
true,
so if
true.
you have your a favorite jazz song, then just steal those chords and play them over and over,
Yeah.
and then noodle on top of that, and that should be fine.
And when you get into jazz, you're probably gonna find, right, like, wait a minute, this is the same chords as that song.
Yeah, it's usually. I mean, yeah, if you have a favorite jazz song or like a jazz standard, like a Autumn Leaves or something, just take those chords and then play those chords over and over, and you should be
Because we
fine
mentioned
practicing and
we mentioned the real book before, right? And like if you look at through the real book, there's a lot of songs that is like the same key and the same chords, except for like maybe one transition chord or one chord substitution here. But if you learn like both those songs and you learn where chord substitutions can go, that's where you can make songs sound more jazzy. You can kind of steer away from the typical way that it's played into something that sounds more like, ooh, that has a little bit more spice to it. That has a little bit more of a kick.
yeah. And that the red book, it's framed back there.
Okay.
The red book,
What we got from Mike.
Yeah, you can pick that up for free online. So if you
It shows you like the basics of jazz.
I mean, it's the basics, but it goes really deep, really fast.
It's still jazz.
Yeah,
It's still jazz.
Yeah, so I mean, and they have lists of like jazz standards that if you're a beginner you should look up, and songs and albums and things. So if you
It's
really
free,
don't
right?
know, it's free.
Yeah.
You can just order it online and they'll ship it to you free.
You messaged them asking for physical copies, right?
Yeah.
But they even provide like just free
Digital
PDFs
copies.
of that the book too.
You don't
So
even have to get it shipped to you.
you don't have to wait. You can get it you can go to the site. We'll post a link to the site in the description of the video, and you can just go there and pick up the PDF like right now. So yep.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions?
Well, the other part of their question was what scales can you practice to, for those chord progressions? But
I mean, if we're talking 25116 or 1625 or 1645, just stick to the major and minor, minor scales. I mean, there are other scales you can definitely check out, like. But I would stick to those because those, are the foundations to a lot of things. When you add fancy chords like flat, flat fives or sharp 11s or things like that, like it still pertains to the major and minor scales, So if you're playing jazz chords, it's still good to know your basic stuff. So basic major minor scales, maybe a harmonic minor and melodic minor, like to just change it up a bit and stuff. Like other than that.
Yeah. Or I mean blues. If you're playing blues chords, then just play the blues scale.
Like the pentatonics, like based on pentatonic scales, like that. Yeah, that's all just like normal stuff. I mean, you can look into more like complicated scales, but I would get really, really, really good at like the majors and minors and like harmonic minor, melodic minors, and then maybe go off. If you're looking for something specific, you're like, no, but give me one. Like I have this book called The Grimoire of Scales and stuff. Check that out. I think it's like a purple book. It's good stuff.
Yeah. That's for guitar though, or?
I think so, but it works for anything. I mean, scales are scales.
Yeah.
Like,
it just lists the notes.
List the notes of this.
It is for guitar. Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But you can use it for anything.
Yeah, I think in Solo Secrets, right? How we kind of showed that was we broke it down by the the major scale, which is the first mode.
Oh, you can do modes. Yeah, there you go. That's another thing. Yeah, modes.
And the fifth mode, like that's the modes that we focus on in Solo Secrets.
Mixolydian.
But jazz is kind of playing once you get those two modes, and those two modes are kind of like your jumping in point. That should be where you start off from. But then jazz is kind of like playing in between those two modes or playing the notes in between. So that's where you can kind of figure it out. And like Mike said, right, if you play a wrong note, just keep playing it, because when you play the wrong note multiple times, it like, okay,
that's
that
jazz,
that
baby.
was meant to be in there. and it's true, it does, like that really is how you find out, like, ooh, this note isn't necessarily in the key or scale. But man, I love playing this note over this chord.
On it.
Yeah, or slide it up to the next fret and resolve.
Up or down.
Yeah.
That's like the fun part about it, Yeah. It's got some stank on there.
That's what Renee liked, right? Like when you kind of helped her with the song she was working on, you showed her how to like add a little bit more of that, like, ooh, that it doesn't quite fit, but it feels so good though. If it's so wrong, but it feels so right. Right?
I got the bass bug, just like it's like Renee did, because Renee's working on her bass and stuff. She's got a bass, she got a U bass or something like that. I know she's been playing bass, but because I've been doing my videos and stuff, and since this pandemic doesn't allow me to play with my friends too much, like I've been learning bass. Whew, it's a lot of fun, but it's so hard. Like today I released my song for my first album, or redid Loud Phrases, because I didn't have a proper video for it for some reason. Like I just had an old video, like, which is like the second video I've ever uploaded on YouTube, and then like a live one from KCC that me and Ryan were playing. So I'm like, let me do one. And I'm trying to do one original every month, but doing the bass of that song, I thought it was gonna be simple. It was like 2 chords, right? But holy cow, like I was trying to listen to like Ariki Foster's bass line that he added on Suite 409, and I was like, that is very complicated. It's a very complicated bass line. And even the that Chocobo theme that I did last week, and we did the Chocobo theme here on Ukulele Underground, learning the bass line for that, I'm like, this is difficult. This is like, why is it so hard? The chords are so easy. Like, wait, I have much more respect now to bass players, so I maybe should treat Kaniho a lot better.
You should just tell him, like, learn this song, and then he just does it.
Yeah, and then he does it, like he's just
so easy.
Yeah, so it's just bass. But it is very difficult. So I now have a newfound respect for bass players. I mean, I've always respected bass players because of their groove and their ability to follow, like a groove and a tempo and stuff, or maybe they can even set their own. But like now I'm like I respect them for many more reasons other than just that,
Yeah.
But cool beans. I dig it. It's I'm learning a lot about like about how everything stacks in a song, It's pretty cool.
I always like how everybody wants to be like the lead guitarist
or singer or whatever. Yeah.
But once you become a musician, right, everybody wants to play with a good bass player because good bass players make or break, everything. So yeah.
Yeah, there's all those like bass player and drum player jokes and stuff, like how they don't get enough attention or they don't get the money or they don't write enough songs or whatever. But like, geez. Like, tell that to Paul McCartney. Like, he's definitely made enough money for himself and yeah.
Like when we write our own songs, like I'll throw on a pre-made drum track or whatever. But there is like a difference between like a good drummer listening to a song and figuring out like a drum beat that fits the song and just something that's like, oh yeah, I play the snare on 2 and I play the bass on 4 and that's just all I do. It's like, yeah, it works, but it's not the greatest. It doesn't sound the greatest. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we need to talk about before we go?
Marima asked a question.
Okay.
So she said, how do I find the key of G minor on my circle of fifths?
There should be a relative minor thing. Don't we have a thing that shows
so there's
relative minor?
The outer circle
Yeah.
is the majors, and then the inner circle is the minors.
Yeah. So if just find the the spot in the circle of fifths where it highlights the G minor as this relative minor to whatever major scale that you're looking for, and that's how you find it.
Yeah, put
spoilers,
that in the center.
It's B flat. Yeah, put it in the center.
Yeah, and the chords to the left of it and the right of it, immediately to the left and right, are the chords inside of
that key.
Yeah, but that's if you're looking for it in the circle of fifths. An easier way is to just take the minor, whatever minor key that you want to do it. In this case, G minor. Just go a step and a half up. Okay, so if you go a step and a half up, that should give you the relative major, and that should give you the place on the circle of fifths. So in this case, B flat. So if it's B flat, you would just set your circle of fifths to the key of B flat, and there you have your G minor chords.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Let's give more of that kind of question, Kahai. Something I know. You gotta toss me a lob every now and then, like.
Yeah. So she kind of mentioned that she got confused because she found a playthrough of a song.
Yeah.
And it said it was in G minor and it had F and D in it, so she was a little confused. But like, if you look at a song and they say that they're in one key and you're looking at it, because even when we did the live coaching with Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Jim who was like, oh, I checked out this song, but all the chords are wrong. Right?
Yeah.
It's like you just got to be careful about that stuff online. It's like sometimes people are not super careful about what chords they put down in.
So if there's a G minor but an F and a D, what key
it's still
is
G
that?
minor because D is the fifth to a G, so you can use the D as a 5 so that you can then resolve to the G minor. So you're still in the G minor key.
Yeah. So it's good that you kind of question it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, G minor.
Yeah. Still G minor.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was all the questions that we got this week.
Hi, give me a nice lob for the last question. Smash it so that I'll look good on camera. Like, I got this, Kahai. Let me take care of this last question.
I'm basically just the mouth to the chat. People type stuff in the chat and I just spit it out. So
the mouth from the south.
Koloa. Sure, you can. I'm not from Koloa, but
mouth from the east. It doesn't rhyme though. All right. Nothing else?
I think that's it.
Okay,
for the questions.
We were gonna set like a brand new challenge and stuff, but maybe we'll wait until next week. I'm trying to secure another guest for a future Ukulele Underground podcast. If I somehow miraculously secure this guest, the Ukulele Underground podcast depending on when this person is available, we might just let you guys know when that podcast is going to be. Yes, I have reached out to that person. I've yet to just last night. Okay,
cool.
So it's not like I've been waiting for an answer and stuff, but it's just cross your fingers, everyone. 'Cause it's going to be a huge get if we get it, but no guarantees. So I don't want to say because I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but please. Yeah. And if nothing else, I guess we can get Jake. You know, I guess we could ask Jake or something. Like let's have him on the podcast.
I think people like they hear you say that and they're gonna assume like, oh, it's Jake.
That's why I wanted to say Jake because it's not Jake.
Yeah, I think it would be a great guest for the podcast, but I don't think it's anybody that people would suspect. Right?
Yeah, it's not anyone people should know unless you know that person already. I would be stoked, and Kahai probably couldn't keep still if it comes true. No, but you know the guy, or the person, I should say. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See.
I was like, I don't know, but yeah, that is true.
You're like friends now. You're basically friends. You're basically. You could borrow a cup of sugar from this guy if you needed to.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to? Yeah. So we won't. Maybe we'll hold off on setting the new challenge.
Yes.
But do you want to pick the winner of the last challenge?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay. So this is for it's a 30-minute lesson. So the winner. Here's the wheel Kai made for us. So here's the 4 people that made songs. This is for a 30-minute private lesson from yours truly that is not a part of your 2 lesson allowance for Ukulele Underground. So this is a completely it's a prize just for this contest, okay? And you can schedule that. It doesn't even have to be the times of the Ukulele Underground private lessons. We can definitely set aside some time where I can go and give you a 30-minute private lesson. So let's click on that wheel and figure out who to give this lesson to. Kahai, spin that wheel. Chris and Sue. Right on, so Chris and Sue, congratulations, and thank you so much for your song. What this is basically is they made a song based on our guidelines of the last songwriting challenge. So if you wanna win some cool prizes, sometimes we give away physical things, sometimes we do lessons and whatnot, sometimes we do strings, whatever it may be. You can get yourself in line for a prize if you should write a song for us now. All you got to do is follow the guidelines, which we'll be making next week on next week's show. It'll be due, I guess, 3 or 4 weeks afterwards, and then we'll pick a winner and we'll give you a nice prize.
Next week too is gonna be the first Thursday of the month.
Ooh. So, okay, sorry, I blanked out this week. Next week we have another open mic. Thursday next week, it would be the 1st.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, right on. So April 1st, not a joke, not an April Fool's joke. We are having an Ukulele Underground open mic next week, Thursday. All right. Bonus points if you, dress up silly. If you want to dress up silly, it is April Fool's, so let's have some fun. Nothing too crazy, just dress up silly. I mean, it's not Halloween or anything like that. Feel free to do whatever you want. I mean, we had Rob dress up as Sir Elton John last time. That was pretty cool. If you want to spice it up a little bit and just be silly, you can. Since it is April Fool's, I hope somebody, at least one person, do "Never Gonna Give You Up" by Rick Astley. Is that or is it another song? It's "Never Gonna Give You Up," right?
Uh-huh.
That's the meme. Yeah. I want to see someone do "Never Gonna Give You Up." We'll give you 2 songs. Play that and then play your actual song. Right on, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for our Aloha Friday Live Jam. Keep it locked into Ukulele Underground. Sign up for UU Plus to take your ukulele playing to the next level. Take some private lessons from yours truly. Watch a lot of stuff on UU Plus. We have UU Plus solos. We have lots of seminars. We have lots of master classes. So what are you waiting for? Sign up for UU Plus to take your ukulele playing to the next level. We have a jam tomorrow, and I'll see you next week for the open mic. Aloha.